What's up, everybody? This is Ed from This Day in Metal, and today I'm here with Attila from Mayhem, one of, if not the most influential, infamous, and iconic band to emerge from the Norwegian black metal scene that they were essential in creating. Attila famously joined the band as their vocalist for 1994's De Mysteriis Dom Sathanas, a watershed release in black metal history. We're here today to talk about Mayhem's seventh studio album, Liturgy of Death, due out February 6th through Century Media. Attila, it's a thrill for me to have you here today. How are you doing?
Great, and great to hear from you, and thank you for being on your show. Yeah, everything is cool. I'm just at home, and yeah, had a bit chaotic day with these interviews, like I told you. But I'm
Yeah,
very happy finally that we met and we can do this interview now.
absolutely. I'm thrilled to have you here. So we're here to talk about the new album, which when it'll be released, will be the first new Mayhem album in 7 years. Um, when you're in a band like Mayhem, you guys can easily like rest on your laurels and be a legacy band, continue touring forever on the catalog you already have. Um, I think Liturgy of Death, I listened through a few times, and I think it's an incredible statement by the band. What drives you guys to keep creating new material?
I think it's just like naturally is going on. We don't make that many albums if you look into this.
No,
We compared to that, like we had now the 40 years anniversary tour, worldwide tour. That's 40 fucking years, and I think we have. I can't even tell, but maybe seven albums. I
it's the
think not
seventh,
more than
yeah.
that. Yeah, right. It's the
Seventh
seventh,
studio,
seventh,
yeah. There's a lot of live
seventh
recordings,
studio.
EPs, and everything, but
Yeah, but it's not. We are not like going every second year and just throwing out something, whatever.
mhm.
It takes some time, and it always comes back, and it feels like sometimes somehow it like feels like okay, maybe it's time to do it. Plus, when we have the channel, like for me, it's like started to clarify like this. That is like a theme like so universal, so profound, and it's related to the band in many ways. It's just like it was that in our family, like we have members who passed away or died through the history. It's pretty dark. So I thought like this has to be done, So and it took some time, We had the Diamond, the last album, then COVID hit. There's a lot of shit. We couldn't really even tour with it. And yeah, I I mean, I've been doing this also, like when you mentioned I joined Mayhem in 90 whatever four, but I that's when the album came out.
Yeah,
I
it was really before
actually
then
yeah, I heard from the guys in 91, but I started to play in 85, 86, with my first band
with Tormentor,
Tormentor.
yes.
So I've been doing this since I was 15 and now I'm 55.
Mhm.
It's crazy. And and I don't think I will do anything else. So it just keep going, and this creative force, this driving force, is just being there, And I don't know, it's great. I enjoy it. It's very hard sometimes the work to. It's very challenging. At some points, I even hated it. I'm honestly like when it's like grows on you, and like suddenly I found myself in this middle of this chaos, and for instance, the last summer when I had to finalize the lyrics and it was still things were changing in the music, I had to change something in the lyrics. And I was like, dude, it's fucked up. It's summer out there. I want to drive my Harley. Fuck, I'm here and they're writing about that in my room.
Yeah.
But it's like, I love it. I love it, of course. So, and it's great to being released and the album being released. So now it's a great feeling and looking forward the tours. And now also I'm looking forward so for my other things which were like kind of put aside because this album occupied my mind and everything. So now it's done. I can a little bit look into the other stuff. So I'm middle of another recording which is it's a band called Konshu, and I will actually it's going to be special. I'm a guest vocalist there. It's a band of Step from Keep of Kalessin, the brother of the guitarist of Keep of Kalessin from Norway, the band.
Hmm.
And it's the theme is about Egypt, and but it's going to be special. My daughter will be on it, so we're going to sing together.
That's
So
got to be great for you.
yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff. And I have a new band with Igor Cavalera, which is happening now, which is like a little bit in the veins of Sun, you know, the US band Sun.
Hmm.
Like I kind of stopped playing with them, but we are still friends. But you know, time has an end, so I just wanted to move on. We both wanted to move on, and now with Igor, it's gonna be the same, like even more. Like it's gonna be experimental, but super super ritualistic. And Igor is amazing. We are 100% on the same page. Plus, I have another thing, which is also interesting. With Rhys Felber from Frontline Assembly, we're gonna do something which is not so metal, but we will see what it's gonna be. It's more industrial. He's the godfather of industrial. Is one of my hero, and we knew each other for a while. So I'm just never. I can't stop. You know, it's you see, it's like it's just keep going on. I'm going on, and I always try to say no. I say no to a lot of things, but there are things which is impossible to say no. You know.
It sounds
So,
like you're not going to have a lot of time to ride your Harley with all these projects you have.
no, yeah, it's winter now anyway, and yeah. By the way, I'm coming to California soon. I have a wife. We just got married, which is
Congrats.
amazing this year. Thank you. And she's from there, so I'm coming to visit her. Looking forward, and even my son lives there, so I have a lot of. Now I'm related to US even more, and it's cool, you know, and yeah, it's gonna be better weather, but my Harley is still here. Whatever, I love it. I love it. I only drive in the city though. I never go on trips. I never go on long trips. But I love it in the city, man. It's so effective.
I'm sure. I'm sure it is. I want to get into the lyrical theme of the album.
Yes,
Since you
please.
said you spent so much time, poring over the lyrics, it's a portrayal of death not as something to fear, but more so something to almost embrace and celebrate as freedom, right? From like physical,
Amazing. You got that.
societal decay, it's unavoidable. Why did
Hmm.
you want to tackle this, at this point of your career? Like I have to say, reading through the lyrics of the album and listening to how you perform them, it's really such a statement. It really is. There's a deep philosophy there. So I was hoping you could explain that to me a little bit.
Thank you very much. Yeah, man. I mean, when this team, you know, I don't plan these things. So when we were thinking about the new album and stuff, it just came to me, this theme, like the death itself, like I told about. It's like, you know, it's even related to the band's history and everything. And it's, I
Hmm.
think, the most universal theme. And I felt like, okay, I mean, we had always, that's always been around the band, of course. It's always
Yes.
been mentioned in songs, but it's never, that I felt like we never really went in deep into this theme, you know, and now it's the whole album is about that. And I found myself in this huge challenge, which I love too, you know, but when I realized like how universal it is, like, first of all, everyone and each of us will have to face with this and gonna face with this, and everything is changing, everything is passing away, everything, nothing remains, you know. And it's when I philosophically I dig myself into this, I just realize like, holy shit, how many aspects, and first of all, you look at the history, like, or how many art, poems, poetry, literature, paintings, philosophy, um, I don't know, anything, even architectures and mythology and of course the religions, they are all about this theme. It's so deep, and like you said, it's great that it's, I think my lyrics became pretty negative, but it's a Mayhem album, so it
Mhm.
should be. I didn't let too much light in, to be honest,
Yeah.
but it's great that you got this, because I try to mention that, and I try to and like that fact too, that that itself, it's not only a negative thing. It's like you said, it's actually it's the end of suffering. Okay, it's very painful, it's very scary for the people who left behind, but it's in the same time, if especially if you are old or whatever, but look at the whole life, is the whole struggle in life we have. the whole confusion, the whole suffering, and whole pain is the end of that thing too. And it's something very natural, and it's really good words, like you put it. It's nice to embrace it. And also, we need to, it's this dimension, it's this word, this is the aspect, the main aspect of this dimension, that we have to pass away and leave the space here behind us for the next generations. Imagine if we would all stay here. I mean, that would be crazy. It has to be like that. But also, like I say this sometimes. I was thinking about it, like I don't remember when I born at all. I don't remember the beginning. And also, it's like so many different aspects to approach to this. Also, like when I look like in an objective perspective, like what is that we fall to sleep every day and wake up every morning? That's very strange too.
It's
It's
a
just
little
very
taste of
natural to us.
death when you sleep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The difference is that we just remember the day before. If we would not remember yesterday, we would think like every day we die and we born, And also, when my kids born, my daughter is there in the kitchen, and I was there when she was like beautifully born, and she came with a Caesar cut, and I remember when I saw this, like lifted from her mother, and I look at her, and I never forget how it touched me. Like, hold on a second, this is not the beginning. She was there 5 minutes ago in the womb, the same being, and 1 hour before, a day before, and then you go back in time and you end up with the fetus, and you come to the egg and the sperm, but they were also living. So if you project all these things in the future, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, okay, that can be painful sometimes. I mean, birth is always painful. That's no question. Actually, birth is in a way it's worse than that. Just we don't think about it like that because it's always painful. The mother always suffering, no matter what. It cannot go. I mean, maybe 99.999%, maybe someone, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand.
That at least, even the children, the child who is coming to the world is suffering because it's a very painful, the whole thing. But the death is sometimes painful, but sometimes people just fall to sleep, and they don't wake up. So it's not so tragic. If I look at like what is more dramatic and tragic, I think it's in that self, like at least from the aspect of pain, it's definitely birth is worse. But
Absolutely.
anyway, we don't know, and I could never tell, and I'm not a believer in that sense, and I don't want the last thing I want a new belief system here. So we don't know what's going to happen, but all these signs make sense to me that maybe it's just a passage, maybe it's not the end, and also when we look at especially pre-Abrahamic religions like ancient Egypt tradition or Indian tradition, like Egypt, they definitely thought it was a passage. I mean, even Christianity and our religions, the modern religions say it's something after that, So science says there is nothing after that. But hey, listen to the near-death experiences when people come back from the clinical death and they tell these weird stories, which are somehow all very similar. Like they talk about the light, the tunnel, the sun, they go into the sun and all this stuff, it's very, very interesting, I think. And all in all, I think it's a really, really interesting and very, very deep and very, very profound theme. Like it's so many aspects. We could talk about this for hours, bro.
I
It's
agree.
crazy.
I was going to ask you about the title. I mean, you mentioned religion. I mean, the title itself, Liturgy of Death, that carries an overtone of worship, praise. It elicits a religious connotation. You have several religious references in the lyrics. Are you trying to convey the sanctity of death as a supreme entity rather than, an organized religion?
Yeah. It's like, it has this, like, I would say, it's spiritual. It's like, I like like it's the transcendental aspects of the whole thing. So, and it's of course it's a kind of like adoring that thing. Like I'm trying to, yeah, show it like it's crazy, it's super dark, yet it's a beautiful thing, you know, and it's a
Mhm.
liturgy of the dead. Like in a way, it's a little bit like religious, but I think it fits to Mayhem too. You know, we had to come up with
There's
a
always, yeah, there's
like
always been a fair amount of that.
yeah, somehow to fit to the whole thing, you know, and I mean, it's so much things I left out, you know, like it's impossible to put everything in one album. And
Mhm.
for instance, now I was more focusing on the more Western tradition. I didn't talk about Indian or like far or Oriental traditions, even not much about Egypt, which are also could be one another album each, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like it's an endless theme. So yeah, I just we just yeah, I had to stop somehow end this chapter too, you know, and end
Mhm.
this album, and then but I think it's a beautiful theme, and I'm so happy. And now I'm 55, and I felt like okay, now maybe I'm ready for this. I'm old enough to pick this theme up, you
Well,
know,
it
and old
becomes a
enough
thought
to
as you
start.
get older. Absolutely. It's something that everyone faces. You face your own mortality as you grow older. I just turned 40, which is not 55, but even for me, I was kind of like, whoa, okay, like let's see what we're doing here. You know,
Yeah,
it's an
you
eye-opening
start to.
experience, that birthday every
It's
year.
it's cool, and yeah, you start to think deeper about like what is this whole stuff about, like you
Hmm.
said, and what is this, and what's the meaning, and how to. And I think it's like yeah, people might think it's a nihilism in there, but okay, maybe, but also the other side, like why not to live our life on full intense? Like if there is nothing to lose, it's the other way around too. Like you could do like full on
It's
and just
almost
go for it.
optimistic and carpe diem type deal, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's please go ahead, go on. But
I'm
yeah, it's
I'm
like that.
sorry. There's also, so there's a couple, we talked about how, this kind of stuff has been ingrained in Mayhem's history, Mayhem's, lyrics forever. There's a couple references on the album that could evoke that history and, the black metal scene of Norway in general. And I want to know if they're done on purpose or if it was coincidence. There's in Aeon's End, there's a line, there's burn all dead church burn. And then there's
Hmm.
also on one of the bonus tracks, the last line of the song is Death Like Silence, which was, of course, Euronymous' record label. So was that on
Yes,
purpose or was that,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's on purpose to kind of like like embracing everything.
Hmm.
A little bit like it's like I think this album. I mean, I don't know how many albums we're gonna make anymore. Like if you look, it's another 7 years from now on. If we keep that tempo or rhythmics, it's gonna be crazy. We will see. I'm not against it, but I'm not sure. But so I felt like we should just you know touch but go back to the roots a little bit, and like
Hmm.
plus these people always like in this way I would like to invoke them in this album, and like the people who died, Euronymous or Pelle, dead, they are so important, for us, and I kind of like dedicate this to them,
Yeah.
and burn the churches. Of course, it's also releasing a little bit referring on the past, but I'm also referring with that like these dead churches means like these religions we have today. They are
Hmm.
dealing with our death, and that's
Yeah.
so bad. Like they really, it's like a mind control. It's a very sophisticated mind control. They don't inspiring us to find our transcendental self and find out like how really what's happening in our body. Like you said, when you get older you start to think like what
Hmm.
is this whole thing,
Yeah.
instead they just block it down and kind of like they just make giving this kind of almost fairy tales, like what's going to happen to us, and in return they totally control mankind and even be able to create wars and total division by the same God, so-called God. So I think in this sense the churches are very bad spiritually. I'm not talking about really like burning physical the churches. However, it happened in Norway, but
I
we
would
were
assume I
priests.
would assume not.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's more like a philosophical church
It
burning.
works
That
it works on
church.
both levels where you're alluding to the past perhaps, but not, but you're also using it as a metaphor for what you're trying to convey about organized religion.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. So
And even I say funeral of existence, So there is
uh
a lot of like, yeah, like these references on the past, which I think
mhm.
it's important. And it's this
Absolutely.
album is kind of evolving that too, evolves the past, and I think it's the present, and it's gonna be the future of now since we're gonna play this album, and
Mhm.
and I think it's also very present the production. So it's still, it's a fresh thing,
It's a wonderful
it's a
listen.
fresh.
It's
Thank you
really
so much.
I was blown away when I heard it. I think it's one going to be when all's said and done. I think it's going to be considered one of your best albums that you guys have ever done. Um,
Wow, that's great to hear. Thank you. That's a
yeah,
great achievement.
that's
Like
well,
being 40 years old
yeah,
band.
well, to my
you know.
ears, yeah.
Thank
So
you,
we
thank you.
did.
This means a lot.
So you did mention Dead before. You guys had a chance to play in Stockholm last year for the 40th anniversary tour, and Morbid opened for you guys, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
How did that come together? Because I don't think they were active. I think his brother was involved somehow. Can you explain that show to me?
Yes. It's amazing, and that was so cool to meet the guys. And I didn't know. I mean, it just I don't know whose idea was this eventually. Maybe I think it was probably our management also like
Hmm.
worked on that, and it was really cool experience. And actually, what is cool that with my other band Tormentor, we thinking to tour with them more because Morbid, they've been all, back in the days, we all
Yeah, there
influenced
you
each
guys were about
other.
the same time frame.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have a special relation to the band, and I think the old Morbid stuff is very incredible. I don't even understand why that joined Mayhem that time because they had such a good band, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
But it's. I mean, just honest with you, I don't know that part of the. I mean, what was going on in his mind, but I think it's a pretty cool band, and his brother is doing a great job, and yeah, everybody is cool there, so I'm looking forward to play with them. We were thinking about touring together. We are talking actually about this. Now we're going to have a show in Hungary, by the way, on the 13th of March. It's a Friday 13th. Perfect.
What could
It's
be
going to
better?
be, yeah, it's going to be Tormentor and Morbid show, and I'm really looking forward that too. And I heard already that from Australia, our promoters, they want us there, like this package. So I think we're gonna have more collaboration in this way. Even they asked me if I could sing in some songs. Well, that we will see. I don't know that yet, but
Mhm.
I think it's not the best idea when we play another show like we play together. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's a strong connection. It's a strong connection to Morbid.
That's great. Yeah, so along similar lines, when you joined Mayhem after Dead's passing for De
Yes,
Mysteriis, I know you'd been in
yes.
contact with Euronymous in like 91, 92. He was
Hmm.
interested in signing Tormentor actually to his record label and then having you sing on the record. I mean, you were generally aware of
Correct.
what was like going on in the scene at the time. What made that opportunity to join Mayhem an enticing one for you? And was there any apprehension on your part, or were you all about it?
When I heard from the band, it was Tormentor was kind of over
Mhm.
in '90 because first of all, our album Anno Domini couldn't be released. That didn't help at all, and we just had it, and the system collapsed. And what we don't, we still, it's a mystery why it was not released.
Mhm.
But then we copied the tapes eventually to some fans, and the tapes ended up in Norway, and Dead, Pallet, and Euronymous, they became big fans of Tormentor. They reached me somehow in Hungary. I mean, no, not they, because that passed away. And then Euronymous reached me that I saw letters from that, and actually people told me that how much he loved Tormentor, and uh, kind of influenced him, which is amazing. Honestly, I didn't hear from Mayhem before that. We were really isolated, and also since we stopped with Tormentor, I was like, okay, that's it now. And like I mentioned, frontline assembly and stuff earlier, like I was like, it's time to do something else. I want a new challenge, a different. And that time, there was no computer, nothing. So to
Mhm.
play industrial electro music was like a complete next level. Like even like a shittier synthesizer, which like a basic one costed like a car, price of a car, basically.
Yeah.
Like it was really crazy. So I formed my band called Plasma Pool, which was like very dark industrial, like electro, like
Mhm.
in the vein of Frontline and Skinny Puppy. Both of those bands were very important for me that time. So that when and we played and everything was cool, but that when I heard from Mayhem, and I was like, hold on. First of all, it's a strange coincidence because my name in Tormentor, we all had the stage names, was Mayhem.
I've heard that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, okay, that's an omen. Let's check
Yeah.
this out. What is this? And then I heard there's a band from Norway. I was from Hungary, like pretty much like the communist. Okay, that time you could call ex-communist, but just like a couple of years after when the whole communist collapsed.
Yeah.
So I thought it's a great opportunity. Plus, I was thinking like, finally, I will have an album.
Yeah. Oh,
Because that
yeah.
time it
That's
was
true.
not
Yeah.
like today. It was big deal to be on a release, on a vinyl. So yeah, this is how it happened, and then I heard from them, and Euronymous was like super polite, very cool, very sophisticated, sounded like very intelligent guy, sent me this letter like with a typewriter letter, he just
Mhm.
signed it. It was like we talked by phone sometime, and it took years before I went out. He even sent me the Death Crush record and a bunch of other albums like Dark Throne and some Burzum stuff, and then I remember even when I heard that crash, I wish I would hear Morbid. By the way, I didn't hear. He didn't send me that, and
Mhm.
that's a fall because I would love it. But
Yeah.
anyway, it is what it is, for some reason. But I remember when I heard that crash, I was like, all right, this is cool, but this sounds like more like punkish for me. We've been already there with Tormentor, but when I heard the new songs, I was like, hold on a second, holy
Mhm.
shit, now we are talking. This is something else.
Yeah.
No, this is something I never ever heard before. I still listen metal, of course. I was playing with the Plasma Pool stuff, but I was totally still into Slayer, Sepultura, Pantera came then, and stuff like that. So I was still following, but I was like, this is something I never heard before. This way of drumming, this way of riffing, this way of structure of the music and compositions were like super advanced and very futuristic, actually, or something super new and fresh. And then I was like, yes, this is definitely what I want to do. That was no more question. And yeah, this is how it started. This is how I ended up after in Norway, like in '93, and recorded the album. We had a few rehearsals, and then I stayed with Euronymous, in Oslo, and then when we moved to Bergen, I stayed with Varg. Actually, I was friends with both the guys, so
Yeah.
it's very sad what happened. We've been very good friends, so I couldn't fucking believe it later when I heard it, of course. But that's now a dark history. But it is
Yeah.
how it was going on, and no one could foresee what's going to happen. But I could feel this album, that music sounded already like very, very, very special, very cool. So, but no one could foresee it's going to be like that, like what I could never even imagine that after 30 years from then, I will still playing those songs.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, like, kind of to wrap this up a little bit, like the history of the band is what it is. But
Yeah.
you guys have come like so far from that, since you rejoined. I know even after like the album was recorded, you didn't hear from anyone for a while, and that's because of everything that was going, that was
Mhm.
going on.
Correct.
You didn't even meet Necro until probably your second stint in the band, which was like 2004,
98.
98. Well, you were in
98.
touch with him in 98, right? Yeah.
No, yeah, 98 we met when I had a band called Aborim in Italy, and
Oh, okay.
Mayhem was playing in Milan, and the guy somehow set up a meeting. So I
Yeah.
even didn't know that I just even didn't know they were playing. I just heard then that, okay, they back, and I totally lost contact because actually I had contact with everybody, including Snorre,
Yes. Yeah.
Blackthorn and everybody, but apart from Herr Hammer. So we couldn't
Yeah.
reach each other. And then later, Samot reached me. He from Emperor,
Yes.
and he released the Anno Domini. And then I heard about later that Mayhem is still active. And then I saw them. And the first time I met them, it was their first European tour, first time they ever played in Italy.
Hmm.
And the guys were super cool. Necro was extremely cool, actually, when we met. We immediately were on the same page, but everybody else were cool. We didn't know each other so much with Maniac and Blasphemer. So, of course, naturally, it was a little bit of distance, but they were totally fine and cool. They let me even go on stage, and that is a live album called Maledivium Capta Est, which
Hmm.
is like been released by Avantgarde Records, that live show, and I sang. They invited me on the stage for one song already, so it's been always like a family. And yeah, but then it took another 6 years before I rejoined. I
Yeah.
just told the guys, you like, well, they had already a lineup. They had an album coming. That was when the Wolf Layers Abyss was out, and then came the Grand Declaration of War, and they were touring. So I told the guys, and Necro even told me, like, yeah, you never know. We would like to keep you in the family. I was like, sure, but I'm not gonna wait. I have to do
Hmm.
my own stuff
Well, you have a lot of
because
other things going on. Yeah. Even
yeah,
today.
Aborim, Sun, I had also Keep of Kalessin, but then suddenly, I don't know, Maniac kind of felt out, but he's a great artist, but nobody is perfect, and he I think he had problems with playing live, with performing, and or somehow I don't know exactly what happened. I was not there quiet like what, but when they asked me, of course, I said yes, and I was happy to rejoin, in 2004.
Yeah, well, I'd say that it's gone pretty well for you and for the band since. It feels like you guys are stronger than ever. You're touring all over the world. I saw you just had Mannheim come back and play for the Death Crush Encore
Right.
for some of the shows, like which is sick. Um, just to close up, like what would you like for the band's legacy to be, and how does Liturgy of Death add to that legacy? Because I think it does. I think this album's fantastic. Like I said, when people hear it, I think they're gonna love it.
Thank you. I think it's kind of like the croning. It's a nice crown to put on the
Yeah.
corpse of Mayhem, or the
It's
head of
appropriate for the
Mayhem, the
lyrics.
skull. Let's say the skull of Mayhem. So it's a beautiful thing, and I'm very thankful. And yeah, like, Billy Messiah is such a great guy. We are hanging so good, and
Mhm.
Mannheim, the old drummer, cool to have them in that. It was really good to have them on this 4 years anniversary tour here or
Yeah.
there, guest. And what I can say, we're gonna be definitely keep going now. We're gonna start the European tour in February and hope to come back to the US. I think it's in the fall. We have something. I mean, it's not official yet, but I think
Mhm.
they're talking about to. Of course, we're gonna come to the US.
Please, I
And
will be there.
thank you. And yeah, I don't know. I never stop now. I'm 55. I've been doing this since I'm 15. So I don't have any other options. Or, I mean, never say no, but or whatever. But I think I will do music the rest of my time here, and I'm just very honored and be thankful to be in the Mayhem camp, in the Mayhem clan, in the Mayhem family, and I will just do my best as always. And that's a good thing about the band. Actually, the philosophy is that, and that's why I think we are here still. I always been pushing that philosophy, and luckily the others also agree most of the time, and mostly that we have to give always the best and the maximum, no matter what.
Hmm.
I'm very, very straight with that. Like every show, everything we do, it has to be perfect or imperfection. Perfection doesn't really exist. Like we talk about the philosophy,
Yeah.
everything changes always, but we we do that, and that's my philosophy, and that's how I think we're able to pull this far, and there is no compromise on that. And we just had a great tour. We just played in Indonesia. It was amazing. Like I think like 4,000, 5,000 people came to our show, which is a Mayhem size. It's huge. We
Yeah.
are pretty extreme. And in a country like Indonesia, in the middle of it was not even Jakarta, in the middle of nowhere, in the Java island. Anyway, I'm just very happy about this, and we'll keep going on forever. And yeah, it's just a great thing. And of course, I would like to thank to everybody who listening this or watching this video
Hmm.
or reading this interview. Yeah, and especially who are listening our music, because without that, it could never happen without you guys. And I think in a wider perspective, we are all family in this fucked up world, and we still somehow united. And yeah, see what's gonna happen. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna keep going.
I hope that you do, and there are plenty of people out there that are hoping for the same as me. So, Attila,
Yeah,
thank you so much for this. This is so cool to talk to somebody, a black metal legend like yourself. Like, thank you so much. Mayhem's seventh studio album, Liturgy of Death, will be released on February 6th through Century Media Records. The first two singles, Weep for Nothing and Despair, are available now on all major streaming platforms. You can pre-order the album now with a number of color variants and bundle options in the Century Media web store. Dude, thank you so much for this. I know this is your last one of the night, so thank you for sticking around for me.
salute for the US fans. We are
Thank
coming
you so
soon.
much. I can't
Thank you,
wait till you
brother.
come back to New York. I'll come out. I'll be there for sure.
I can't wait. It's a great city. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Bye, man.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye bye.